And now, for the final game of the day, we actually have a fan favorite, Ullr, as well as another, SoaR, facing off. And with that one, we're going to have F-Dot and Tolly bringing you in.
I thought you were going to say that I'm the fan favorite. Then you got to go and say Ullr is. All right, whatever.
I mean, it's not necessarily you. It's the hair. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, it's either me or you, but then she's got to lean on the side of the players. I see you, Nacho. We're going to come out for you. Anyway, Ullr versus their opponent is going to be our ending here. Totally, I just got to ask you see the end of that last game?
Yeah, I did.
You see them get bamboozled?
They definitely got a little bit surprised.
Oh, that was really fun. Commentators got bamboozled as well. I want to give this up. The solo laner for enemy. His name is Seizure backwards, so I think we're going to be calling him Seizure instead of or whatever we were commenting on before. SoaR Gaming versus Team Ullr. SoaR has a new look. They grab Vetium and Benji, two of the guys that really stick together as a package. They're going to be on the outside lanes as the hunter and the solo laner. SoaR's going to see a movement of andinster to the mid lane. Baskin was the other player that moved over to the mid lane. Obviously, he did very well for his squad earlier in the day. Really want to see how Andy does here.
And he also respected the fact that it's Homiefe that's going to fulfill that jungle position. It's not very common to see somebody that's been playing one role for about 3 to 4 years to hand it down to a new up-and-coming, well, not necessarily new and up-and-coming player, but a newer up-and-coming player than andinster is. So seasoned veteran, you know, winning Season 1 Worlds, and on top of this, both andinster and Homiefe respect each other so much with their play back and forth. If you ask them who you think the best player in the world is, they're going to say one or the other.
You know, it's interesting. I know you were trying to say andinster is from the original class of Smite players. He was the original best player in the world, heavy air quotes, right? And then you look over to Homiefe, he's that second or third class of players that come in along with Hurrywin during the Fat Chunks era after, you know, your reign of Terra in like 2013, etc. So we see, well, maybe not that early. Actually, no, 2013 is when you guys were doing it.
It's definitely not 2032. As we get into the picks and bans, Zeus being locked in for Team Ullr. We've seen it yet and time again, ever since Super Regionals in the finals against SoaR. Actually, Zeus was such a dominant pick for them, surprisingly, with both Giannis, Toth, and Ra still available, electing to go for this huge area of effect damage on the Zeus.
I love the Ullr pick here for Team Ullr. Aror and Shen going to be next to it, most likely in the duo lane. Gab, Thanatos, Ra across the way. We're going to see Andy on the Ra here. But Ullr, the Zapman Ullr, Ullr is a character that you can only play if you're really good at him. Full stop. That sounds hilarious. But when it comes down to it, Ullr is an ability-based hunter, and if you're not landing, let's say 90% of those abilities, he's just a wasted selection. Zapman was one of the first real players to come out and really rock the Ullr really hard, and since then he's really been very strong on it. It's a flashy character, it's a fun-to-watch character, but most importantly for Ullr and their fans, it's an effective character.
It's not just the Ullr here, it's the Erlang Shen that's probably going to be onto Aror. He's been playing some warrior supports every now and then. With his rotations, he's been setting up mid lane quite heavily. So we could see a lot of aggression coming out of the dual lane if that's going to be for Aror.
Here's my question though, with the pin getting changed as Jingwei selected across the way, interestingly enough, Erlang Shen doesn't have a cripple on the pin anymore. Is it still like extremely valuable?
Now, he doesn't have the cripple, but he's still going to have the root, which is very important. You can always wait for those defensive cooldowns anyway. With how aggressive Zap could be, he could force the cooldowns, and then Erlang Shen on Aror could capitalize. But look at this. Fenrir yet again. Between Divios, these three gods, I don't necessarily... Well, obviously, Terra's not going to be played for djpernicus.
Says you.
More than likely... djpernicus would not play Terra here.
You say that, meanwhile, the first game Ullr plays at Worlds, Chang'e goes into the jungle.
That's a different story here and there. But those three frontliners, that could be played by Divios any which way you look at it.
That is not a different story.
That's a little bit. I was just looking at the frontliners and thinking, like, what's going to happen in the solo lane for Divios?
Different chapter, same story, I think, is the way to go. Awilix selected as well, next to the Thanatos. So you're going to have an assassin over there in the solo lane. Which one will it be? Well, we'll not play the guessing game. We got like 5 seconds before we get into game. So one of those characters is going to be over there in solo. I would rather see Awilix solo, but we've seen a lot of success out of Thanatos in the solo lane, and that's what it'll be. Benji over there in the solo lane. Give a round of applause. This is one of the name changes I actually like this season. Benji used to have a 1. Now he has an I. You have heard me, whether it be on broadcast, on first period, or otherwise, lament and get very angry at name changes. This one's all right. Benji, hats off to you, buddy.
You got to own up to your name, and that's exactly what Benji has done. You know, formerly known as Salt Machine back in Season 2 of Enemy Days when he and the rest of his team made it to second place in Worlds, where they did eventually end up losing to Epsilon back then. Zapman,
the
not a
early
stranger for damage in the early game, doing a lot of poke. Vetium, oh, that poke.
That's what I was immediately. So, granted, Jing is going to get back to lane. If this is any other character, that's a giant win.
Yes.
The game is all about pushing up these lanes, but Jing is just going to be able to come on back, no problem.
But it's still a good factor because Jing at this point, a lot of damage in mid lane that they're trying to do onto each other. They're going to miss out the jump, though, instead of electing to clear the archers. But Jing on the left-hand side for Vetium, he could have been looking for poke during the waves connecting to each other.
Right.
Instead, not going to be able to get any sort of hits off. He's going to lose all that gold under his tower, and he's going to lose a red buff. Meanwhile, blue buff is going to get stripped away from Team Eager, which is really fine if you're looking at it on the side of Divios. He's expecting that because he went for the Chalice of Mana.
Ah, okay, there you go. That's why it's fine, because I was going to say, Terra's not a character like Chalk or Bakasura, I guess, in the solo lane, that can go without that blue buff. Aurora over here, looking for the big purple guys. Zapman zoning out. djpernicus just making it back in the lane, whereas Benji and Homiefe will play the assassin lane over here. Vetium just getting abused. The pin, the stun. One more basic will do it. Zapman finds it. Bluestone, thank you.
Zapman with first blood. This is looking really good for Eager to already start off into a good snowball advantage, because now Aurora can start rotating and start helping out TheBest and djpernicus, whereas Zap can just continue to look for the 1v1s against Vetium. The experience and gold is going to start to skyrocket now, especially with Zap rotating down towards getting the red and the purple.
That's the start to the season that you want to see if you're an Eager fan. Zapman going off, getting early poke, chasing a player back, getting the early first blood. I mean, this is the identity of the team, very much so, is Zapman getting kills. In reality, I think it's much more of a team-based strategy and result than that, but Zapman's certainly the focal point. Vetium finds a way out as Aurora comes from behind. Good communication. Captain Jigz warns his new Hunter player that's going to be the case.
Forced into rotating now into the dual lane is Jigz, which is going to make it a little bit more trickier in the mid lane, not having that support there. This is something that Eager would much rather have. They want to have the 2v2 in that dual lane. Aurora and Zapman have been playing together for so long, and with this first blood advantage, djpernicus making the rotation. Jigz could even be in trouble here.
Aurora pops out, and the stun off DJ is going to be off the mark.
They both missed their stuns, unfortunately.
Yeah, everybody just kind of misses. Jigz is able to roll out. Not a care in the world.
But the thing is, when you're rolling around as Geb along a wall, you can actually use that wall to your advantage by slowing down your speed, which forces Eager to miss those two easy abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to make sure. I think we kind of glossed over that. That was Jigz pulling a very nice juke to stop the jump out of djpernicus. Jigz is very powerful mechanical player. Divios gets knocked up, pulled down to the ground. Damage to the Benji, still not enough, however. Mark of the Vanguard doing work. Underneath the tower comes the assistance, but he's not under the execute threshold. Divios still juking. Gonna get hit. Nice stun to follow up against Benji. Feather Step isn't strong enough. Knockup will be, but the tower still not enough to finish off Benji. Homiefe and Benji do not efficiently take out the solo lane Terra, but they eventually take care of him and don't die themselves.
That was the perfect defense that Divios could have possibly done at that point. He anticipated the stun, already placed his own stun in anticipation for it, but unfortunately, the tower just did not clean up Benji in time. Had Benji died there, definitely a great trade for Eager. Either way, though, having to sacrifice so much of his health, we're going to see Benji still having to back, so he's not going to be able to take advantage of it by pushing the wave under tower. So now Divios rotating. He's going to grab his own blue buff, get back to the lane, no problem. Still 4 minutes into the game. SoaR struggling a little bit, down about 500 gold.
Andinster here, playing on the Ra. We'll take a look at him for the first time, really all game. He'll be in the mid lane, and he's building into that defensive build that we see a lot of players go last year. This was one of, I would say, MLC's favorite builds that we saw. Everybody really built this. Was the helmet going to protect you against the physical damage from the jungler pretty hard?
It's very cost effective. Of such a low cost, it's going to give you a lot of protections, the penetration, the magic power, all three stats you really want in the early game, especially whenever you're encountering that enemy physical jungler. You want to make sure that you survive against that, the initial burst, to be able to top yourself off later on.
I like where Best has gone here. Best is going with one of the other strategies that we've seen some of the mid lane mages do, is that he's actually going to start the Bumba's Mask. So Bumba's Mask, of course, is less expensive. It's 500 gold, and when you sell it, you get 300 something back. So realistically, you're not spending that much. But the idea behind this, Totally, is the fact that Best is going to be clearing camps by himself more often than not.
And we see a little bit of action around the Gulf here. Homiefe was thinking about trying to look for some damage here. djpernicus is going to jump right in place, but the Cataclysm, it sets up andinster for a nice and easy snipe. Two members from Eager wiped off of the double ult combination between Jigz and Andy.
Yeah, Jigz 100% just good situational awareness. And on the other side from Team Eager, abysmal situational awareness. You cannot line up near the Ra. I mean, that's the combo that you just can't do.
I like the play by Zap. He used beats and jumped away. He's like, no, I got to get under the safety of my tower, but I don't want to get pulled mid-air, stopping me in my tracks. Great use of the beats. And now he's going to be safely there just waiting to see what SoaR's next move is.
Yeah, that's gonna, it's fun that SoaR have to commit 3 players to this lane just to catch Vetium up to Zapman. Zapman's still up about half a level after getting his purple buff taken away from him. Divios here, working on the solo lane Terra. This is a Divios only pick, I feel like. Why does Eager work so well with the solo lane Terra? Why does it fit into their thought process?
The thing about Eager that makes them so scary is you never really know where their picks are going to go.
That's
like
true.
We saw before between the Terra, Erlang, Shen, and Fenrir. The Terra, all 3 of those gods could have went to Divios either way.
Yep.
djpernicus more than likely wasn't going to play the Terra, so the fact that you can run this Guardian in the solo lane, have that global pressure with the making sure you get the cooldowns reduced, having extra movement speed, makes it very easy for Eager to force these team fights around, or at least defend their own buffs in the jungle side.
Homie pops the ultimate early. I think he was anticipating the brutalize out of djpernicus, not going to get the grab. In fact, just a wasted ultimate in all honesty. Jumps away from the stun out of Divios. So Team Eager able to chase SoaR out of their own jungle, but there's nothing to be taken there, so SoaR doesn't really mind leaving the premises.
Zapman even made the rotation very aggressively, so he's going to have to go all the way back to the left-hand side of the map, and he's going to miss a bit amount of gold and experience as that wave will hit the tower.
Yeah, I think that was supposed to be a big hard commit, looking for the entire right side of the jungle. But as you can see, the timers just a little bit too early. Eager wanted to make that play instead of at 7:20. Eager wanted to make that at about 8 minutes.
Benji, 2 levels ahead of Divios, missing the def side, doing a lot of damage with those in-hands. Currently Divios without any physical protection, so those will definitely hurt, especially on the 3rd hit of Thanatos, having extra damage as well as that AoE in-hand will allow him to also clear the way very effectively, proccing multiple hits of that death toll.
Yeah, you can see the Mark of the Vanguard, the only defensive option that Terra has at the moment. The best of DJ here in the mid lane, trying to get something going here for Team Eager. Able to find the first blood very early on, but that was Zapman pretty much by himself. Decent little combination of players, but SoaR, 3 kills to 1.
Off of the back of that ultimate combination from Jigz and andinster. Now, a battle over these oracles in Gulf here, whereas Aror is buying enough time for Homiefe. He's going to get taunted back into the mid lane, doing a lot of damage. And it's going to basically just zone away Homiefe, so the rest of Eager can continue pressuring middle. And we even see on the right-hand side forced into the beads. The snipe is not on the mark this time.
djpernicus is going to get in trouble right there. Avoids the ultimate out of the mid lane, but takes a bunch of damage from the jungle assassin. Up in the sky is the Thanatos, looking for DJ, not going to find it. Gets double stun under the tower, but it's just not enough.
It's going to be a lot of damage onto Best, making sure that he uses his beads as well. Overall, I would say SoaR got the better end of that, except for Divios finding the kill onto Homiefe, trying to find those fire giant elementals in Divios, catching him off guard.
So that's a little bit just underestimating the amount of damage that Divios is going to be able to provide. He does have the purple boots online. The early penetration is going to be strong. Benji narrowly avoids the stun. Smart choice right there. A lot of times you'll see Thanatos is, I mean, we've seen a lot of miss. Ooh, not a missed opportunity here. Gold Sphere going to go down. Aurora playing defense. And that will be that 25,000 gold right here. It's going to amount to about 1,000 gold in the lead. More importantly, it takes away SoaR's lead. So if you're rooting for Eager, things certainly looking good.
It's something that Eager's always been doing a great job about. After taking out that pick onto Homiefe, they just make sure that they always group up, taking anything that they can on the map. If the buff was available, they would have went for that instead, surely, but making sure that Aror was zoning was good enough for TheBest to get off his damage, especially he had his ultimate available.
What I love about that Homiefe play, I want to rewind just a little bit. Aror even uses the ultimate, the taunt, right? He's just harassing the Homiefe, but without a character to meet up with like Ra. Andy wasn't in that conversation, he was on the other side of the map. Without somebody like Ra or somebody to sustain, that damage winds up being permanent. So that's why you see Divios get the kill. The support, why is he messing with you? You'll never get the kill, but who's the follow-up player? Who's going to get him 20 seconds later? That's the question.
You got to be holding hand in hand in Smite in the jungle side with your mid laner and vice versa. You don't want to be really left alone, as such a warrior support will certainly take advantage of you. We saw SoaR flirting with the idea of the portal demon, but instead now Eager are starting to group up and they want to be able to pick off Jigz.
Oh, not going to happen this time. Jigz lined it up for the ultimate out of Andy the first time around. This time it's going to be Homiefe that capitalizes. Ultimate out of the support player will get 2 stuns, but nobody gets hit by Basket. Not as much damage as he might have anticipated. So instead, it's DJ that falls again for the second time this game. SoaR doubling the kills of Eager. It's 4-2.
It's very difficult to pick off Jigz with his build at this point. He has to reinforce Greaves into the mark of the Vanguard. So if you really want to commit onto him, you're going to have almost all 5 members with all their abilities just to be able to take him out. Whereas on the side of SoaR, if they catch you out of position, they're going to just take you out completely. We saw djpernicus go in just to take Jigz off the table, but the ultimate from Homiefe was still available. Pulling him back in while the beads was not available for DJ allowed for a very clean kill.
And Homie just beat him up. Man, the underrepresented portion of the Awilix ultimate is just how much power and attack speed it gives you. I mean, right away, you're amplified by, I think, 40 or 50, like, off the bat from the first level of the ultimate, and the attack speed gets something silly as well. It's not just all about that grab. It's about the after the fact. In fact, you actually see sometimes Awilixes, when they're split pushing, will pop the ultimate under the tower, and it just makes it so, it just melts it like butter.
Especially once you have those mid to late game items to give you that little bit of penetration to be able to effectively take out those objectives even quicker. Even though SoaR was fighting into that Zeus ultimate when they picked off djpernicus, it's only level 11 Zeus at this point. It's not the strongest thing in the world. You still have enough timing to be able to get your pick and get out, especially when you're relying on the sustain coming out of andinster.
Vetium able to catch up here, going the Devo gloves build. He's going to even up the experience lead that Zapman had initially, thanks to some good, solid team play. Everything all even here, basically, in our 12th minute of gameplay. 2,700 experience, Tolly. Paint me a picture. How big is that of a lead for SoaR?
Heading into the 13-minute mark, it's not that bad. Benji having a 1-level lead over Divios, especially with it being a Guardian, is to almost be expected of. Guardians struggle a little bit against Assassins and Warriors, so they're going to be a little bit behind. They're going to have their blue buff taken away, but on the flip side, it was also Vetium that struggled because his buffs were getting stripped away. So I would much rather see Eager be this little behind at this point because their team fights does have a little bit more control with Divios on this Terra.
Fire Demon guy, Portal Boss Man over here going to be attacked. This is SoaR, drops out some help, and he gets the kill on DJ through the wall. Down from the sky comes Benji, but the portal is Eager's all over the place. Trouble for Aror, he's going to be contacted by the rest of the squad. Benji, not accurate with those death scythes.
It just seems djpernicus has always been the sacrificial lamb for Eager, just constantly getting picked off. Benji, though, nicely get shield by Jigz, making sure he wasn't going to get rooted under that tier 1 tower, and zooming away from the action after hitting that death side with the shield of regrowth is Benji going back into the right-hand side, making sure he maximizes his farm.
Big play coming out from Team Eager. SoaR respond exactly the way they should, though. That is what's fun here watching these two teams, is that the SoaR just know exactly, that is a sneak play against most other teams in the league. I mean, how do you know that play is going on outside of the vision that you have right there?
So much confidence out of Zapman, just walking casually into SoaR's red buff, stripping it away, recognizing he has a very small timing window to be able to execute that play. Still having both of his relics in case he did get in trouble is what makes Zap still, even at this point in his Smite career, such a strong player.
Yeah, I mean, that has to also help out the team. You played with Zapman for a number of years. That infectious attitude. Now, we're not talking about when things get bad, but when things are going good, Zap's very, very confident. How important is that to the rest of the team?
It just, you basically can feed off of his confidence. They're not going to be able to get that.
Oh, he stole it with the axe.
Did he? Yeah. I don't see the little glowing effect right in front of the gold
No, they wind up splitting it.
Okay, I thought he got the first one. I thought Zap got the first one, and then the second one was stripped away by SoaR. But either way, 1 for 1. Neither team getting the vision in front of that gold fury. Both teams, though, electing to try to figure out a way to start up this next objective. After clearing mid-wave, SoaR's going to position themselves aggressively, trying to control the vision around the mid-harpies. This is what you have to do whenever you have a wave advantage. If you're not going to start up the gold fury, position yourselves to get the wards out.
Gold fury started, leash started again, leashed, started a second time. There is going to be a little bit of focus on the players from around the backside. Aror is going to get controlled, but that's everything. They blow 2 ultimates, 3 ultimates, 3 ultimates on the support. Here comes the counterattack from Eager. DJ is going to get executed, jumps away. Benji can't find it. Zapman by himself being chased by the assassin and the support. Zapman finds the stun. Looking for the basics after the fact. Won't be able to find it. Neither will he find the hail of arrows. But SoaR, 5 ultimates down. Still a Zeus ultimate available. This is not a good look for SoaR. Here comes the change. Gold Fury goes the way of Team
No, it went to SoaR. Now with the Zeus ultimate trying to hold on with his Aegis for a little bit longer. Vetium doing a lot of damage, and with the beam from andinster gonna find the best in the process. The heal gonna keep everybody topped off. Eager, unfortunately, not able to secure the gold fury, losing 2 members in the process as well. So SoaR gonna be able to not only tie the game up, but get a slight lead despite being behind in the beginning stages of the game after Zap found that first blood.
Great stuff out of SoaR. Homiefe just going to make it even better. Nice Aegis out of Zapman to save the life. Going to dodge the stun as Homiefe. Here
Jigz.
comes the response from Team Eager. Jigz is in trouble, gets hit by the hail of arrows. Can't find the crowd control. Stun is good. That's the rollout. Jigz is in trouble. And there it is. Zapman cleaning it up. 2-0-0 for the New York Hunter. But SoaR right there, they make they make an interesting play by investing everything into Aror right there. 3 ultimates just for the support.
Overzealous was definitely the word, I would say, from SoaR, trying to really find that pick. The fact that it was Aror that got off his ultimate to engage right off the bat definitely helped him in his survivability aspects, having the sovereignty and the gauntlet of Thebes, giving him so much health, so much protections, able to top himself off with that ultimate, with the turtle, giving himself a little bit of a shield, bought enough time necessarily for all the abilities to still be on cooldown for SoaR, so they don't found more than just that one initial pick.
Exactly. You see SoaR, they blow 3 of their ultimates into that, and it looked like you said overzealous, almost a mistake. But that's what is a sign of a fantastic team, when you're able to make the mistake but fight into it anyway. They drop the 3 ults into Aror, which is overzealous, but Benji chases out djpernicus, doesn't get the kill, but it's effectively a kill because he's out of the team fight. And then the rest of SoaR are able to just topple Eager and the rest of the team fight by splitting the team up, by having the numbers advantage. You send 2 after Zapman, 2 after another target, and then they are able to correctly deal their DPS into the Gold Fury. Just a fantastically executed sequence coming out from SoaR. Very impressive.
You could tell just how overzealous SoaR is, though, because even after that Gold Fury, they wanted more. They wanted to try to find the initial pick again onto Zapman. A great Aegis used by him, but because the fact that Jigz made the rotation with Homiefe, he tried to make sure he was in a position to shield him in case he got stunned out. That forced Jigz in a position where he couldn't really retaliate from there.
There's going to be the blink from Jigz, double stun out of the ultimate. On the backside comes Divios, trying to find somebody, but just can't find control. Benji lands down on the Guardian, not really that big of a deal. Ultimate out of the mid lane, Rod, not going to hit much as well. Divios finds the kill on the right side of Homiefe. Jumping up and down is going to be djpernicus. Can't find the stun, but Best does one better and takes 2 out. Down goes the horn, 19 on the clock, and Team Eager shift into the lead, 7-7.
It's going to be a deicide, if not deicide for Eager.
best.
Eager, just like that. The Portal Demon was taken by SoaR, but without any members here, this Fire Giant is going to be essentially free. The sustain from Divios is what helped win that team fight. Best kept himself alive with a Terra's Blessing for a little bit.
Where's the shell?
Using the Monolith as well for even further sustain, continuing to throw out the chain lightnings and the detonations for the best. Great teamwork from Eager, making sure everybody stayed alive.
MVP Team Eager, shell. Right there. You had a great setup. Well, all right, arguable setup coming out from Jigz. He comes and gets the initial initiation off of the backside, which nobody's really involved in. So I think it could have been better, but it wasn't terrible. Then that fight when everybody centralizes around the Fire Giant, totally, you see the ultimate out of Ra come down, and it just doesn't do the damage that it did before. You see the damage come out from Homiefe, and it's just not doing the damage that it did before. I couldn't even tell you where Vetium was. Eager just absolutely, they used that. The shell is what won that team fight by itself.
And now, as a result, 20 minutes into the game, Eager with about a 4,500 gold lead with Fire Giant. So this is going to just skyrocket once they strip away these last 3 towers. It's going to be an additional 4,500 gold, so that'll be 9,000 if they're able to successfully siege it down. And with Terra now sitting at level 18, highest in the game, tied with Zapman, this is going to be a great opportunity for Eager to start sieging as a 5-man unit, relying very heavily on the sustain, especially with Divios picking up that Rod of Asclepius.
So Zapman's build, the Transcendence and the Chin Sai. How do you feel about that? I feel like those are 2 items that don't really get along together.
It's very true that, you know, Transcendence is more about ability-based hunters, Chin Sai is more about the in-hand hunters, but you could do a little bit of both with Ullr, which is what his whole kit is about. You know, when you pop your second ability, your steroid, on the bow stance, you're going to have, ooh, hold that thought though, like again, Best just gets eliminated. Jigz and andinster showing why this combination is just so powerful.
Yeah, I mean, that's just... Best was in the wrong spot. I mean, completely. You
also didn't have the relics.
At 21 minutes, relicless, can't be by yourself by the Gold Fury. You're going to get punished. Zapman might get punished here. Sanctuary saves him for the moment. Nice Feather Step will deal damage just to Aror. Here comes Benji. He tries to take care of DJ, but Jigz is the one to fall. Now on the backside, Benji gets a good silence. Triple stun! Big man, dog man, djpernicus barking down the opposition. Zapman gets credit for the kill, but all hats off to the K9. DJ with the triple stun.
They found the initial pick, but it didn't matter. Without the Raw Ultimate, without the Cataclysm, there was no peel for the rest of the team fight. Eager took full advantage of it. Yet again, the sustain from Divios, as well as the Fire Giant buff, helping them win that team fight, and that triple stun out of djpernicus. That was hot fire.
I mean, that's one of those plays that you don't care where your team is, you have to make that play. Homiefe finds a knock-up in the jungle, has the ultimate available, but realizes it's the Guardian, and or rather Aror, the support, and just says, nah, you can stay.
He had other intentions. You know, he tried to maybe catch that man around that corner. That would have been the ideal target. Sometimes, you know, you hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst kind of deal. So 2 towers being stripped away. Still a last one remaining on the right-hand side.
If you keep quoting Linkin Park during our games, I'm gonna trade you.
Linkin who?
I'm gonna make you go.
I don't even know who those.
I'm gonna make you go stand on the stage. I'm gonna be.
Wait, there's a park near here named Lincoln.
10 to 8, read the kills here, folks. 22-42 on the clock. Team Eager leading this one by a big chunk, despite the fact that I think you can safely say that SoaR was doing a lot of the work during the early mid game. Early game, sure, Zapman did a whole bunch of stuff. But then as the game started to get underway, it looked like it was going to be SoaR that was really putting their stamp on this one. But Team Eager, was it the single play by the Fire Giant that turned the tables?
Oh, absolutely. Making sure that it was keeping Best alive for so long with just getting the DSI. You didn't lose anybody in the process, so everybody's getting farmed, everybody's getting the experience that they need to separate the gap away from SoaR. That was just so crucial. They just blew too many cooldowns on the Best without finding the kill, and all those abilities from the Best being thrown out made it too difficult for SoaR to stay alive.
I think it's arguable if Team Eager is the best team out here. In fact, I think it's easy to say that they're probably not, with the likes of LG and even the SoaR team in memory of Gabe, but I think they're one of the more exciting teams to watch. You get to see those big deicide plays. They're always looking for the giant plays is really what you're going to see out of Team Eager this season.
Especially with djpernicus, he's not going to hesitate to go in, despite time and time again in the beginning of the game, he kept getting shut down when he went in. Obviously, Homiefe was waiting for those jumps so he could pull him back in. But that doesn't deter DJ from still attempting to make the plays. He trusts in the rest of his team to be able to capitalize off of any abilities that he absorbs in turn.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I got to sit down with Team Eager during Super Regionals, and we had a very long, let's say, half-hour plus interview between the guys, and I asked them like what the identity of Team Eager was. The identity of Aror might be lost here in the right side lane, but here comes Divios, and TheBest is going to respond as well. DJ is backing nowhere near in this fight, so it's a 4-on-5. Team Eager playing it safe and will look for the distance. Blinking forward is Jigz going to match up with Andy. Not going to find a target this time around. There's a target. Jigz gets stunned. He gets knocked up. Still a lot of damage, and Zapman able to find his 4th kill of the game.
DJ in the back forcing the ultimate out of Benji, so it's a one-pick. Benji's out of the team fight completely. Everyone from SoaR has to concede this tier 2 tower, and this could also give enough of a window for Eager to transition straight into the Fire Giant here. Everyone from SoaR had to go back to base, and it's going to be Aror even overextending a little bit further so he can continue to zone. He's not even worried.
Did DJ use Rallying Ritual to get up here this fast? Because he has 2 wards in his inventory. I think he used it and then bought the wards.
If he did, I definitely didn't catch it, but it's going to be Eager with DJ and Aror zoning everyone from SoaR. Their 2nd Fire Giant of the game, basically free.
Yeah.
Nobody from SoaR really wanting to contest this. They're down 13,500 gold.
So going back to what I was mentioning, a little rave belt over there. The purple buff doesn't seem to agree with the Fire Giant belt. I like what's coming out for DJ. These guys said that, Team Eager has a lot of different identities. They're experimental, they're creative, but when it comes down to it, they're really into understanding their own team and trusting their own team. That when a player goes in, you absolutely have to follow up. And there was actually a hype video put out by the Eager guys recently for their team. And, you hear Zapman saying, like, look, I used to make roster changes left and right, but DJ is the one on this squad that really instills the whole, like, team mentality. That it's all about the unit. And I think that really helps Eager both last year and coming into this new season.
Coming from a lot of competitive experience in other games as well, djpernicus has that leadership ability within him to be able to really light a fire beneath everybody from Team Eager, making sure everyone's on the same page mentally. And despite, like we mentioned before, time and time again, DJ getting shut down earlier on in the game, it doesn't matter because everybody is looking at the bigger picture. Eager's always about the objectives, managing to sneak some here and there, managing to win the team fights because they have trust in each other. If relics are down, they're not going to take the team fight. If somebody's out of position, Divios is going to make sure that he bails him out.
The idea on SoaR is very similar as well. They've had some roster changes, so I imagine the culture is something that's going through some changes. Triple stun from the support.
Look at the
heals.
heals.
Get hit with the damage at the mid lane, but Best picks up 1. Jigz is gonna fall. Zapman on the back line, but Best picks up 2. Best picks up 3. Zapman picks up the 4th. Best rolling trips all across the board. DJ grabs a 5th. Ladies and gentlemen, 16 kills on the board. I think the 17th is gonna be the Titan.
That's going to be probably it. Team Eager is going to be able to grab this 1 Phoenix, exposing SoaR's Titan, going to be able to grab the first game of this 2-game set. And they're looking very strong here, after that first blood from Zapman, it looked like they were going to get into a really good spot to be able to snowball the game. SoaR fought back pretty well with Jigz and andinster, but it was all Eager after that Fire Giant fight.
Best. It was all Best. Zeus just making it rain all day. Absolutely fantastic stuff coming out from the mid lane. Sure, you might point to the guys that set him up, but I really got to give it up to the fantastic mid lane. With everybody coming in, it was actually really funny. With everybody changing position over there in the mid lane, you got Andy and Baskin. I remember Best just sitting there like, so everybody's just going to join my lane now. Okay. And that's how he's going to treat the new guys. Got to tip your hat to andinster. I think during that initial mid-game push that SoaR had, Andy really was a big part of it.
Absolutely, and playing a very safe god on the rod too.
Yes.
You could tell like he doesn't want to feel too out of position here. He didn't want to go for the Giannis pick, which was open. Toth was open as well. A lot of mid players will like to go for that. Instead, going for a safe god, relying on other players to kind of set him up for those easy plays.
And